So, I made 40 grand in a single day earlier this month. And ever since, I've been feeling really weird. And so, I wanted to make this video as a kind of open journal thought to my future self and to my younger self. Because one of my biggest regrets is that I don't make enough of these videos. Because along the way, it's kind of weird how fast things move and how fast things are changing. And anyone else on this kind of similar journey of growing a business will kind of understand what I'm saying, is that you become so consumed by it that you forget to stop and look at where you're at. And earlier this month, as I said, I made 40 grand in a single day, actually in a single payment. We received a wire of 40K USD for a new client to onboard on a project with us, and for us to run a webinar for them. And yeah, as I said, I've been really struggling with the idea of money ever since, because I realized that first and foremost, the first thought that I had in my mind was, before it was going to close, I was like, wow, this is a lot of money. And then as soon as it closed, I was like overcome with this feeling of anticlimax, of like dissatisfaction, of like, I came to the realization that $40,000 is not a lot of money. And that the more money you make, the more money you're exposed to, and the more money you're exposed to, the more money you want, and the more money you want, the more money you chase, and the more money you chase, the more money you get, and the more money you get, the less money is worth. And then you want more money to fill that void, because you think, if I just get more, it's just that I don't have enough. If I get 100K, if I get 200K, if I get a million, then it will be enough. Then I will feel rich. Then I'll feel like I have money. And then you really, really quickly realize that that is not the case. And by no means am I at the pinnacle of my business success. By no means am I super rich. But like, I make more than the average person at my age. I make more than most people at my age. I make more than most people in the world. And I say that to say that at the same time, I feel as though I'm very, very poor. I've actually never felt more poor. I felt more, I was talking to a friend about this the other day. I felt more wealthy. I felt more rich when I hit my first 10K in my account, seeing those 5 figures. I was more happy then than I felt, I don't know, processing a wire of 40 grand in a single day. So I've been struggling with the notion that no amount of money that I chase is going to make me feel satisfied, or no amount of money that I chase is going to make me feel rich. And at the same time, because I run a business where we do basically webinars and we market for info businesses, you realize that like a lot of them are just so inconsequential to the world in a way, which just sounds so bad to say, but it's just the truth. It's like, what are we doing? We're just selling made up shit to make this made up score counter, which is money. Because, if you have enough to live and you're happy and you can travel most places and you can do everything you want, like, especially when you're not particularly materialistic, it's like a bit of a futile pursuit. Especially when, like, in the last year especially, I found myself becoming extremely consumed by work, and I stopped life maxing in a way. I got out of shape, which is ironic because I used to be a personal trainer, basically. In better shape than most people, but out of shape by my standards. I kind of locked myself away at my desk for a year. And in a weird way, I don't remember much of the last year. That's another reason why I'm making this video, is just so I can keep track of things more. But it's also making me realize that I've been chasing, let's say, money for the last year, or like scaling the business for the last year. And this month we've had a record month. We actually had a record month 2 weeks in, and a week left to go in the month. But I just realized that I've kind of lost the year of my youth in a weird way. And I don't know how to feel about that. I lost a year of my youth to just chasing money. And I mean, it's working, but the more money I make, the less I give a shit about money. And so I guess one of the lessons that I wish I had learned earlier, which ironically I learned it when I'd hit 30K a month for the first time, and then forgot about it until I made 40K in a day, which is that whenever you hit your financial goals, all that happens is you get so used to that being the norm, is that the goalposts just shift and then shift and then shift. And so every time you hit a goal, every time you hit a financial goal, what you deem to be successful just runs away from you. Especially, I think, when you're in something like business, or you have you run a business and you are the creator of your wealth. It's not like you work at a company and you climb the ladder and you get a certain position that has status amongst the eyes of your colleagues. It's that every time you make more money with your business, if you go out there and you meet more people, you're exposed to more and more people who have more money. And then as a result, relatively and comparatively, you become very small. So like in a world where when I started, I used to think that like 20K a month, 30K a month was a lot of money. Now when I meet some of the people that I meet at masterminds and through my friends and whatever the fuck it is, you're like, oh shit, like it's actually not a lot of money at all. And by that I mean making 100K a month is not that much money at all. I've got a friend of mine, he's 20, he makes like 700K in a month. It's like, damn. You even as you become more exposed to bigger people, and you're like, wow, there are people who make hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It's like there are levels that are so far apart that make you realize A, how much money there is in the world, and B, how little the amount of money that, let's say, you make when you make like 40 grand in a day or a couple hundred grand a month or whatever it is, actually is to the world. And it's like, yes, you can buy most things and you can live a pretty decent life. But it really makes you very apparent of the fact that chasing money is a very futile pursuit. Because you can buy most things for pretty cheap. I mean, just look at it as like you want to buy a pair of shoes. The other day I went to the store and I bought a pair of shoes. And even 3-4 years ago, buying a pair of shoes for like 150 pounds, which is like $200, 3-4 years ago would have been, holy fuck, like I need to think about it for a couple of weeks. Whereas now it's like, oh, I like that pair of shoes, all right, I'll buy it. And then, oh, I like those as well, I'll buy those as well. And then it's like, it doesn't make a difference to your life, that you don't feel it. It's a weird feeling that I'm now being exposed to. It's like the fun of adult money, but like even more distorted, because it's like the fun of like online business money, because I'm like, 24, and I make a very good amount compared to most 24-year-olds. But I only wonder that as I stay in this game longer and longer and longer, how this will compound in 5 years, 10 years time. Like I've recently started to as well explore the idea of having bigger visions. Like I find that in the online business space, the focal point is so much around money. It's so much around like, I want to hit 100K a month, 500K a month, $1 million a month, whatever it is. With a lot of the focus being on the money as opposed to being on building something good and building something meaningful, something that has some kind of an impact on the world. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, you wanted to start a manufacturing business and you wanted to, like, I don't know, sell products to the masses. You're selling products to the masses and your focus is on making a really good product. Whereas most people in the online business space, their focus is just like, how hard can I market? How hard can I market? And I feel like as a proportion of time spent across businesses in the world, in the online kind of money space, agency space, coaching space, so much more is on advertising and marketing than it is on building something properly good. Like in the real world, how real businesses grow through word of mouth. And one thing I realized is that although for us it took us a lot longer to hit some of these milestones that we wanted to hit, now that we've hit them and we are hitting them, we're doing it because our product was really good and we made our product really, really good. But again, we made our product really good in the fear of losing clients and in the fear of not making money. But with selling webinars and advertising and funnels, like it's great to make a rich guy even richer. It's amazing. But again, there is no impact to that. For me, one of the things that makes me happy is building my business in Lebanon and like hiring people from Lebanon and having them work on clients abroad and having people see how great the talent from home is. And like that's become one of the pillars. But as of recently, I've put a lot more emphasis on doing something bigger than myself, which is what business was always really about, right? Like making money is one aspect, sure, but it's also about helping people, I guess, being of service, putting value into the marketplace. And I have started to become more focused on that. And one of my goals is to build the biggest service-based business run by Lebanese people. And I want my staff to be mostly Lebanese because I want, that's my way of giving back, right? That's not giving back, that's my way of building something valuable and meaningful. Like that excites me. Growing the business to hire more people from home, to give them more opportunities, to do stuff that the people that run my country can't even do, right? Not to get political, but so I've also been very brutally aware of the fact that, back to the point of like losing a year of my youth, I don't really have hobbies anymore. I used to do jujitsu and I loved that. I used to, God, I don't know. I used to run. I used to just love the gym a lot more. I used to really like things outside of work a lot more than I do now. Because now I'm just consumed by work. I'm always thinking about the next webinar launch. I'm always thinking about the next client. I'm always thinking about how can we sign a bigger deal? How can we make more money? How can we do this? And like things are moving at 100 miles an hour and I just don't even have time to sit and think anymore. And we're hiring another person and we're managing and we're training them and the client has a problem and we need to fix this and we need to fix that. And like, it's just all consuming. And so I'm trying to have a little bit more fun. Even though at the same time, I'm brutally aware of the fact that I'm nowhere close to where I want to be. But I'm also brutally aware of the fact that where I want to be, in quotations, is such a loose and relative term that it moves every time I hit a landmark, right, of monetary success. Like if I had told myself 2 years ago, in July 2024, and I said, Gio, in July of 2026, you're going to make 40 grand. You're going to get a wire for 40 grand from one client. I would like to say that I would have believed it then, but I also know that I probably wouldn't. Like I had such appreciation. Like there was a point in 2024 where I genuinely was like really tough on money. I was down to my last few £100 and I was in a real make or break scenario with my business. Not this one, the previous one. And like now, the money's not an issue and I don't care about it. And when you don't have money, it's one of those things that you hear people talking about who do have money and you're like, oh, they're just, either lying or they're delusional or they're whatever. But the human mind has such an ability to get used to things. It has such an ability to become accustomed, to adapt, that it really is the case. Like it really is. You get a new car, it just feels like it's the same car you had, the first car you drove. You get a new house, it just feels like home. You get whatever it is. You go on a trip, you do whatever it is. You get accustomed to things so easily. And so if I would have told myself, like, you're going to be making X amount at 24 and you're 2026, I would have said, wow, that'd be pretty fucking cool. That'd be amazing. But at the same time, wind is shaking my phone. But at the same time, now that I'm here, I try to feel grateful, but I didn't think that I would have to try and feel grateful, if that makes sense. I didn't think that it's something that I would have to force myself to do. It's something that I thought that I just would be feeling, but I don't. I don't know why. And maybe down the line, in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years time, I might watch this video back and be like, you fucking idiot. Like, you should have enjoyed it when you had it. You should have made the most of it. You should have appreciated it. But then maybe my lack of appreciation, or my being accustomed to, or my lack of excitement around the subject is what makes me want to have more. And maybe that's why I have, I don't know, more drive than the average person of my age. Maybe that's why. And by the way, I'm not saying that to like gloat. It actually comes at a massive cost. It comes at a massive cost. So I'm actually not saying that to gloat. Sometimes it pisses me off, because it means that I genuinely, I don't life max as much as most people. I don't go out. I don't go clubbing. I don't know. I don't do many of these things. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know anything anymore. I mean, I'm happy because it aligns with my values of doing the right thing over what feels good, right? I've realized this is one of my values, that I have to always do the right thing over what feels good, or usually I try to, at least. And so for me, a more degenerate lifestyle doesn't appeal to me. This lifestyle appeals to me a lot more, but it comes at a massive cost, which is that I sometimes wonder if later in life, when I'm 40 or 50, will I look back at now and be like, maybe you should have enjoyed it a bit more? Or will I be like, thank you for having done what you did so that I can be where I'm at 40 and 50? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So, yeah, that's why I make this video. I just make this video because, like, it's been on my mind, having a bit of a rough day. So, just leaving it as a diary to myself more than anything else. But anyway, if you want someone to run a webinar for you and make you a fuck ton of money, I guess you can book a call with me in the top link of the description. But that's really not what this video is about. But if you are earlier in your journey, then just enjoy it. Because I was at the co-working space that I used to be at in 2024, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, when I was here, I couldn't buy any of the snacks like 2 years ago. I could only buy one. Now, just to make a fucking point of it, I'll buy every fucking snack in this place. I'll buy 3 Diet Cokes. I'll buy a protein bar. I fancy a Kinder Bueno. Let me fucking buy it. Whereas before, it was like spending £5 on snacks was like, oh shit. let me tone it down a little bit. But I look back at those days as the good old days, even though it was 2 years ago. But you get what I'm saying. Like, relatively, it was like, damn, I miss those days. I'm nostalgic over those days. I certainly was happier. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's it for this video, but I spoke it out, I talked it out, and hopefully this is valuable for someone for some reason, but just try and enjoy life, all right? Peace, take care.